Hey guys, it's Steve, Build a Business You Love, and I'm back with another event space video. And this is part two of things you should consider and what to do when someone cancels. Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you guys that if you go to my website, there's a section called free guides and downloads. And within free guides and downloads, you can actually download a free event space startup checklist as well as a small business startup cost spreadsheet. So I can move my head down so you can see the website. The website is buildthebusinessthelletteryouLove.com, buildthebusinessyouLove.com. And the spreadsheet is basically allows you to put in all your estimated expenses so you can look at your estimated expenses versus your actual expenses. And you are kind of able to tally up all the things that you are expecting to purchase for your new business journey, right? For your new project. And the free startup checklist basically just gives you some insight to all the things you can expect or possibly expect on your journey as far as zoning, LLCs, all of that stuff. So, and it's just a basic checklist on how to start your event space and some of the things that you should consider. And that is free at buildabusinessthelletteryouLove.com. And you can just download it at any time. So back to the matter at hand, what to do when a person cancels part two. Now, guys, if you haven't checked out part one, there is a lot of content there that a lot of information that I mentioned, like people doing chargebacks, understanding and knowing your contract like the back of your hand. And these things are important, right? When people cancel, because you need to know, how people are going to be respond, and you need to know how to respond based on the terms and the parameters of your contract that you allow them to sign, right? So basically, I know a lot of people, they'll say, oh, I know what to do when someone cancels, I just tell them, we're not giving a refund or whatever the case is. But that's not always the case. You're going to have some people who they don't take no for an answer. Okay. And I have encountered these people. They know they're wrong. They're wrong and strong. Okay. So you have to come to them correct, right? You have to come to them professionally correct. And doing so, I found a quote that I thought was quite helpful in this particular scenario. And it says, I keep six honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who. Okay. And why is this important? Because we're bringing this back to school. We got, we got to bring back what we learned in school. That's the who, what, where, why, how, when, right? These are the important things that you need to mention in your response when people want to cancel. Okay. When they want to get the money back that they put down and they knew, and they knew why they signed the contract, so they understand and know, what your rules are, and they decided, hey, I'm going to try anyway, right? And people will do this. Like I said, there'll be a lot of wrong and strong people. Okay. And I've had, as I mentioned in the first video, I've had people who, wanted to cancel, and it was like dire circumstances, they miscarried or someone died. But I've also had people who will lie and say that, they miscarried and someone died. So it's really using your discretion as a business owner and kind of feeling it out and just doing what you feel is right, right? Sometimes you may say, okay, I understand. I'll give you your retainer back. And sometimes you may say, no, I know you lying. Like, what? And for some time, and as I mentioned in the first video, how I had the one person who it was very clear that they were lying, and I just felt like, wow, who would put that on that child, on that future child? Like it devastated me. At any rate, I'm going to read to you what I have here. I'm going to go over why I have these things in the response. Okay. And by the way, guys, at this point, everything should be in writing, because they can come out and uh, ask their credit card company or their bank for a chargeback. Okay. Or they can come out and just sue you for their return back. First of all, I should also mention that you should use the term retainer and not deposit, because deposit kind of implies to me that they can get it back, whereas retainer, it's in the word. We're retaining this. We're keeping this. This is my money, because you're holding the day for them, right? You're holding the day for them. They're saying, hey, I'm gonna, have our event, and you guys are making promises to each other. I promise that I'll open up the doors and we'll have the place ready for you, and I'm going to hold the day for you once you pay your deposit on all of your balances, your retainer and your security deposit, and all of your balances and stuff like that, right? And you're promising that you'll do that. Like, it's a give and take, right? It's a business, but some people don't see it that way, and that's why, if this is your first business, it's really hard to wrap your head around understanding different business concepts and realizing that you are a business owner now, or a potential business owner now. You have to start thinking like one and not like a consumer. Okay, so this is what I have here. I'll read through it really quickly. Hello, such and such. I'm really sorry to hear that you want to cancel because of X, Y, and Z. Based on the terms of the contract that you agreed to, you can choose from two options. So you can apply your retainer to a future event for up to 6 months from the date of agreeing to this option, or you can choose to completely cancel your event, then have all payments received to date will be forfeited. Okay, and no refund will be issued. Please let me know by responding to this email which option you'd like to pursue, and I'll be happy to further assist you. Please respond within 5 calendar days from this email. Please note, if no response is given, we will conclude that you wish to cancel your event and forfeit your retainer. Okay, so we're going to go through all of this really quickly. Like I mentioned before, we need to look at the who, what, where, why, how, when, all of that stuff, right? Because people get slick. That's the truth of the matter. They get slick, they want things their way, and they don't care. I don't know if it's this new generation. I don't know what it is, but people feel entitled, and it's just like, this is what you agreed to. Why are you mad? Because this is what you agreed to, and for people who are in a business, comment below if this has happened to you. This happens. Okay, this kind of thing happens. So at any rate, let's look at the who. I want you to make sure that you have the correct person canceling. I've had a situation, because we live and we learn. We all make mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes. I had a situation where a couple came in, and the mother to be booked, and she's the one who signed the contract. Her and the dad got into it. He decided to cancel all of her vendors. He wanted to cancel. I don't know like who would do this sort of thing, but there are people out there apparently. So he wanted to cancel all of her vendors. He wanted to cancel everything. So he canceled us as well. And in doing so, she didn't know. And so she called me and was like, oh yeah, I just want to, confirm for this day. And I was like, you guys canceled. So it was my mistake. I should not have allowed him to cancel. Okay, so this is a mistake that I learned, and I am conveying all of my mistakes onto you guys, so you don't make the same mistakes, right? Learn from me, do better than me, right? And because of this, I had to rectify the situation and correct everything, and she completely understood, because she know who she was dealing with, right? So at any rate, make sure that who is the correct person. The person on the contract should be signing. The person who was signed on the contract, I'm sorry, is the person who should be canceling if they decide to cancel, and it should be in writing. Okay. The next thing is sorry, my phone. I have to put in the password again. Okay. The next thing is the what. What are you canceling? Are you canceling the rentals? Are you canceling the venue? Are you canceling, what are you canceling? So sometimes people will have rentals along with the venue, and they'll rent both. I'm a big fan of separating the two. Do not allow people to don't utilize the same contract for your rentals as you do for your venue. Okay, because they'll come back out and say, oh, I don't have the money to do the chair and this and the table, so you know what, we're just going to do X, Y, and Z, and it gets so super complicated as to what money applies to where. You don't want that. Okay, so understand what they're canceling, and understand that you have to give them an option once you figure that out. So are you giving them the option to apply their retainer in 3 months, apply their retainer if they decide to cancel, apply their retainer to another event in 6 months. Like, what are you giving them the option to do? Okay. And make sure that's very clear, and make sure that you have a specified time frame, because people will come back 2 years later like, oh, yeah, I remember I put down a deposit for an event, and I want to come back and use it now. Like, it's 2 years later. I had that happen to me. Somebody did that, and it was a year later. I'm not kidding. A year later. So make sure, make sure that you have a specified time and it's very clear. Okay. And people know what they sign. They know what they sign. They just want to see what they can get away with. All right. So ask them, and also these options that you give them, one or two of two options, should align with your contract. Don't have something that's there that's not on your contract, because then you're gonna have all sorts of problems. They're gonna come to you and like, oh, but you didn't even put this on your contract, and this says this, but this says this, but now you're telling me that. So make sure it aligns with what's in your contract. Okay, we're gonna keep it all the way professional. Next is the where. It's not really that important unless you have multiple spaces, or unless you rent out, say, I don't know, your back area or your outdoor area and not the indoor venue, something like that. If you have like a unique situation, other than that, the where is not important. They know where they're booking, but you can add the address absolutely to your communication. Okay. The why. It's always good to get feedback, okay, as to why they're canceling, right? Because it could be, the space down the street has a better lighting package, or they're slightly bigger, or they're offering me prettier tables and chairs. You also need to keep abreast of your competition and what's going on. So that why they're canceling, getting feedback is very important. But the why could also be that they just didn't have the financial capability to move forward with what they had planned out. Right. So, and people will make up stuff because they don't want to admit to that. They don't want to say, oh, I plan all this stuff. I plan to go to the moon. We having this baby shower on the moon, but we can only afford to go to the to the community center up the street, right? So people have these wild aspirations for how they envision things, and you have nothing to do with that. That's why I couldn't be a planner. Planners, y'all know, they'll have a they'll have a shoestring budget and want the entire world. So I take my hats off to you planners, because you guys be going all out for sometimes shoestring budgets, and you guys pull it off and it looks gorgeous. Okay, so for me, I couldn't be a planner, but hats off to you planners if you were a planner out there. Then the how. Okay, you should tell them how you want that response sent back to you. Okay. Do you want them to send it back to you via email, which I recommend? Do you want them to call you, which I do not recommend? Because even if you record a phone call or a phone conversation, a lot of times in a lot of states, you need to have permission from both parties for it to be legal. So, you know. So make sure you provide an email address, right, on how they should get back to you and send their communication to you. Also, the when. You should provide a very specific time as to when they should send this communication back on what they want to do. And what will happen if no response is sent within that time frame. So you see right here at the end, it says, please note that if no response is given, we will conclude that you wish to cancel your event and forfeit your retainer. Okay. And they should know all of this, like what will happen. So respond, or you're going to just forfeit everything and not be able to apply it to the baby's christening or first birthday. Well, it'll be after the 6 months in this case for the first birthday. But that's things that you could possibly work out. You don't want to be like a bad business person, but you also want to stick to your guns and stick to your contract, right? So it's finding that balance as a business owner, not just an event space owner, but just a business owner in general, where you're pleasing the customer, making the customer happy, but you're not digging your eye out doing it. Okay. So that's the basics of, the things that you should include when someone cancels: the who, what, where, how, when, why. Guys, I have an event space course that's out right now. Right now it's at, for a very limited time. It's at $97, and it's called the Ultimate Event Space Startup Course. And basically, it gives you a lot of insight on how to start up, how to properly position your business for funding. We go into funding. Okay, we go into management, operations, what to buy, uh, how to set up everything. We go into contracts in depth. We go into zoning and permits. That part is super long, and I always apologize, but I want you guys to understand the lingo and the language so it doesn't go over your head. And you're not like, what is this? When you encounter something. Okay. But it's a bundle, it's a course, it's contracts, it's templates, and you also get access to the free community for the course. So you have like-minded people that's on the same journey as you. Okay. So guys, I thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I also have an event space group, guys, if you want to check that out as well. It's Event Space Startup Management and Decor. It's free. You can check it out. It's just a bunch of people just showing off all of their decorations. If you have problems starting out with your event space and you have questions there, you have a bunch of like-minded people in there as well. So I'm Z from Build the Business You Love. I hope this video helps somebody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm out. Talk to you guys later. Bye.